Your cursor hovers over the buy button. The chart is screaming opportunity. Every fiber in your body says go. You hesitate. The moment passes. The trade rockets up without you. You watch, paralyzed. Again. Next trade, different demon. You're already in, already green. Your brain whispers, take it, lock it in. But greed has other plans. It could go higher. You wait. It reverses. Green turns red. You exit with nothing. Or worse, a loss. Two trades, two demons, same trader. Fear froze you when you should have moved. Greed trapped you when you should have escaped. These aren't just emotions. They're forces, dark, ancient, ruthless. And right now, they're controlling every decision you make. By the end of this video, you'll understand the neurological machinery behind fear and greed. You'll see why your brain betrays you at the worst possible moments. And most importantly, you'll walk away with a complete framework, a system that doesn't just manage these demons, it neutralizes them. This isn't theory. This isn't motivation. This is the architecture of self-control, the missing piece between knowing what to do and actually doing it. Most traders spend years fighting these forces. Most traders lose because they're fighting blind. Today, you learn to see. Let's start with fear. You've done the analysis. The setup is perfect. Risk-reward is textbook. Everything aligns. But your finger won't click. There's this weight in your chest, this voice whispering, what if you're wrong? What if this is the one that destroys your account? Your heart rate climbs, your palms sweat, the opportunity window closes. And you sit there, frozen, safe, and losing. But here's what makes it worse. The trade you didn't take, it wins, massively. And now you're not just frozen, you're angry. Angry at yourself, at your weakness, at your fear. So the next setup comes. This time you force yourself in. You push past the fear with sheer willpower. You're in the trade. Finally, you did it. But the fear didn't leave. It's still there. Now it's mutated into something darker. The trade moves against you, just a little. Normal retracement, expected volatility, but fear doesn't care about normal. It screams, get out, you're going to lose everything. You exit. Early. Panicked. The trade immediately reverses, hits your target without you. And the real kicker is this. You didn't just lose the trade. You reinforced the fear. You taught your brain that hesitation keeps you safe, that panic is protection. Every time you surrender to fear, you make it stronger. Now, let's talk about greed. You're in a winning trade, up 20%. Your plan says take profit. The rules are clear. But greed whispers a different story. This could be the big one. Why settle for 20 when it could be 40? Just a little longer. Your exit plan evaporates, your discipline melts. You watch the profit number climb, 30% now. You feel like a genius, invincible, chosen. Then the turn happens. 30 becomes 20, 20 becomes 10. Now you're not taking profit, you're holding to break even. 10 becomes 0, 0 becomes negative. The winning trade is now a loser. And you're still holding, still hoping, still trapped. But greed has another face. The face that shows up after losses. You're down, your account is bleeding. Logic says step back, reset, follow the plan. But greed says you need to win it back now. You jump into the next trade, no analysis, no setup, just desperation wearing a mask of opportunity. You're not trading, you're gambling, trying to force the market to give back what it took. The market doesn't care. It takes more. Here's what most traders never realize. Fear and greed aren't separate problems. They're two sides of the same coin. They feed each other, amplify each other. Fear makes you miss opportunities, which triggers greed. Greed makes you take reckless positions, which triggers fear. You're trapped in a cycle, a loop, a prison, and every rotation makes the walls thicker. Let's go deeper, into the machinery. Your brain wasn't designed for trading. It was designed for survival, for predators and scarcity, for threats that wanted to eat you and resources you might never find again. Fear lives in your amygdala, ancient, primal, lightning fast. When you see red candles or potential loss, it doesn't think, it reacts. It floods your system with cortisol and adrenaline. Your rational brain shuts down. Your body enters survival mode. In survival mode, you don't strategize. You freeze, fight, or flee. In trading, that means hesitation, revenge trading, or panic exits. Your amygdala doesn't know the difference between a bear and a bad trade. Both trigger the same alarm, the same shutdown. But it gets darker. There's something called loss aversion. Your brain feels losses twice as intensely as gains. Losing $100 hurts more than winning $100 feels good. This isn't weakness, it's biology. So when you're in a losing position, your brain is screaming at maximum volume. But when you're winning, the signal is quieter. This creates an imbalance, a distortion. You'll do anything to avoid the pain of loss, including holding losing trades far too long, including missing opportunities because the potential pain feels unbearable. Now let's talk about greed. Greed is dopamine, pure and simple. When you see profit, your brain releases dopamine, the reward chemical, the pleasure signal. It feels good, really good. But here's the part they don't tell you. Dopamine isn't about satisfaction. It's about anticipation. It's about the chase, the possibility, the more. That's why you can never satisfy greed, because the dopamine system doesn't reward having, it rewards wanting. When you're in a winning trade, dopamine says, imagine if you held longer. When you take profit, there's a spike, then a crash. Your brain immediately starts looking for the next hit, the next trade, the next opportunity, the next high. This creates something called variable reward conditioning, the same mechanism that makes gambling addictive. Sometimes you win big, sometimes you lose, sometimes you win small. The randomness keeps your dopamine system hooked. Your brain becomes trained to chase, to want, to need. Here's what's really happening. Fear and greed aren't separate emotions. They're neurological systems, survival circuits, ancient code. But understanding them changes everything. When you know fear is just your amygdala misfiring, when you know greed is just dopamine chasing ghosts, you stop identifying with them. They're not you, they're signals, chemical reactions. And signals can be managed. Reactions can be interrupted. Code can be overwritten. But it requires a system, a framework that acknowledges these forces and neutralizes them. Not through willpower, through architecture, through decision-making structures that remove emotion from the equation.
This is the framework. 6 steps, non-negotiable. Step 1, pre-trade protocol. Before you ever look at a chart, you decide your parameters. Entry price, stop loss, take profit, position size. You write them down, physically or digitally. Doesn't matter. What matters is they exist before emotion enters the room. This step exists because decisions made in advance are rational. Decisions made in the moment are emotional. Fear and greed can't hijack a decision you've already made. They can only tempt you to break it. And breaking a written rule feels different than changing your mind. If you skip this step, you're trading in quicksand. Every decision becomes a negotiation with your demons. You will lose that negotiation every time. Step 2, the 10-second rule. When you feel the urge to enter or exit outside your plan, you wait 10 seconds. Count them. 1, 2, 3, all the way to 10. This rule exists because emotional impulses peak and fade. They're waves, not permanent states. 10 seconds gives your prefrontal cortex time to come online. to interrupt the amygdala's panic or the dopamine's craving. During those 10 seconds, you ask one question. Is this my plan, or is this my fear? Is this my plan, or is this my greed? If the answer isn't my plan, you don't move. You breathe, you wait, you let the wave pass. If you skip this rule, you're a puppet, every string pulled by chemicals you can't even see. Step 3, the half-out discipline. When your trade hits 50% of your profit target, you take half off. Always, no exceptions, no matter how strong it looks. This step exists because it breaks greed's grip. Greed says all or nothing. Half-out says, I've already won. Once you've locked in partial profit, the trade becomes free. The psychological weight lifts. You're playing with house money. This doesn't mean you can't let the rest run. It means you've already secured the win. Fear can't steal it. Greed can't erase it. You've immunized yourself against total loss. If you skip this step, every winning trade becomes a battlefield. You'll ride it up, watch it fall, exit with regret, every single time. Step 4, the stop-loss contract. When you place a trade, you set your stop-loss. Then you make a contract with yourself. This stop-loss is sacred. If it hits, I accept the loss without question. This step exists because moving your stop-loss is suicide. It's fear's most dangerous mutation. It convinces you that giving the trade more room is logical. It's not. It's denial. The market doesn't care about your hope. It doesn't care about your need to be right. If your stop hits, your analysis was wrong. Period. Accepting that is freedom. Fighting it is bankruptcy. If you skip this step, your account becomes a slow bleed. Death by 1,000 moved stop losses. Step 5, the post-trade blackout. After you close a trade, win or loss, you step away. Minimum 15 minutes, preferably longer. No charts, no tickers, no just checking. This step exists because emotional hangovers are real. After a win, dopamine makes you feel invincible. You'll take reckless trades chasing the high. After a loss, cortisol makes you feel desperate. You'll revenge trade trying to erase the pain. Both states are poison. The blackout period lets your neurochemistry reset, lets your rational brain reclaim control. If you skip this step, you'll chain trades together, each one influenced by the last, until you've turned one bad trade into 5. Step 6, the Fear-Greed Journal. At the end of every trading day, you write 3 things. 1. Moments where fear held you back. 2. Moments where greed pushed you too far. 3. Moments where you followed the framework.
This step exists because awareness is transformation. You can't fix patterns you don't see. The journal makes the invisible visible. It turns unconscious reactions into conscious data. Over time, you'll see your triggers, the specific setups that activate fear, and the specific profit levels that activate greed. And once you see them, they lose power. If you skip this step, you're trading blind, repeating the same mistakes in an endless loop, never learning, never evolving, never free. This is the framework. 6 steps, 6 walls between you and chaos. It doesn't require you to be fearless. It doesn't require you to be emotionless. It requires you to be systematic, to build structures stronger than your impulses, to trade like a machine that happens to feel. Let's watch this framework in action. There's a trader. We'll call them Cypher. Cypher's been trading for 2 years. They know the patterns, they understand the setups, but their account is flatlined because every win gets erased by fear or greed. Tonight, Cypher's in their darkroom. Blue light from the monitors washing over their face. They're staring at a breakout setup. Clean, textbook, perfect. Their cursor hovers over the entry button, and the fear hits. That familiar weight in their chest. What if it's a fake out? What if you lose again? Their finger freezes. But this time, something's different. Cypher remembers the framework. Step 1. Pre-trade protocol. They've already written their plan. Entry, current price. Stop, 2% below. Target, 6% above. Position size, calculated. Risk, acceptable. The plan exists. Fear can't erase it. Cypher activates step 2, the 10-second rule. They count. 1, 2, 3. Their heartbeat slows. 4, 5, 6. The panic fades. 7, 8, 9, 10. They ask the question, is this my plan or is this my fear? It's the plan. Fear is just noise, a signal with no meaning. They click, they're in. The trade moves up, slow, steady. 3% profit, 4%, 5%. Now greed shows up. This could go to 10%. Why settle for 6? Cypher's hand moves toward the screen, ready to cancel the take profit order. But step 3 catches them. The half-out discipline. They're approaching 6%. That's 50% of their target. The rule is clear. Take half off. They don't want to. Greed is loud. But they remember the rule isn't about wanting. It's about surviving your own mind. Cypher takes half off at 6%. Locks in the win. The trade keeps running. 7%, 8%. Cypher's remaining position is pure profit now. Then the reversal starts. 8% becomes 7. 7 becomes 6. The old Cypher would panic, would hold, would hope, would watch it turn into a loss. But this Cypher has already won. The stop on the remaining half is at break even. Worst case, they keep the profit they locked in. Best case, it runs further. It doesn't run further. The stop hits. Trade closed. Total profit, 3% of their risk. Not the home run, not the perfect exit, but a win. A clean, disciplined, repeatable win. Cypher lean back. Exhale. Step 5, the post-trade blackout. They close the charts, walk away. 15 minutes, no peeking.